You know, my wife and I were watching a WatchMojo list over the last weekend, and they came up with this top 20 country songs of all time. And one of them that was on that list was Take Me Home Country Roads by John Denver. And I remarked, nah, that's not John Denver's best song. Well, what do you think is the best John Denver song? I thought for a minute, and I turned to her and I said, you know, that'd make a great show, wouldn't it? Top 25 John Denver songs. I'm TC Kirkham, the Kirkham Report. Let's rank this! Hey all, TC Kirkham, the Kirkham Report here. Welcome to Rank This, where I rank anything and everything that pops into my mind. And this week, my wife gave me the idea, so we're going to do my top 25 favorite John Denver songs. I'm a big John Denver fan. I've got several of his albums. In the last couple of years, I've added some of his albums I didn't have. But I've got a lot of singles, and I've been a big fan. So I went back through his catalog and picked out my top 25 songs. Not going to be, necessarily agreeing with everybody else, but these are my favorites, and I like them for various reasons, and we'll talk about them as we go along. There might be a few that you think should be on here that aren't, or a few that are on here that you think might not be. But remember, hey, your mileage may vary. This is my personal list of my favorite John Denver songs. So, here we go. Starting at number 25 from 1981's Some Days Are Diamond, the single The Cowboy and the Lady. This song was done prior to that by Bobby Goldsboro in 1977 and Brenda Lee as the Cowgirl and the Dandy in 1980. But I still like John Denver's take on this better than either one of those. John lends it his usual upbeat, happy sound, and it really makes a great little single. It didn't do as well as earlier stuff, but, by that point in time, John was not the super success he was in the mid-70s. Everybody eventually winds down, and he was winding down. Great stuff, though, from 1981, The Cowboy and the Dandy, The Cowboy and the Lady from Some Days Are Diamonds, number 25. At number 24, going way back to his original version of Leavin' on a Jet Plane, was released on Rhymes and Reasons in 1969, released on a couple albums before that too. But to be honest, I've always preferred John's version to Peter, Paul and Mary's, even though Peter, Paul and Mary had the biggest hit with it. John's version of the song seems more intimate than Peter, Paul and Mary's did. Of course, it was Peter, Paul and Mary's biggest hit, and that version of that song helped get him noticed. So that was a good thing. I just like his soft, very acoustic take on the song. Really, really well done. And he re-recorded it a couple of times for various greatest hits albums. Really terrific job, though. Number 24, Leavin' on a Jet Plane. At number 23 is a song that I like a little better by the band that recorded it later, but it was still my first exposure to the song. Number 23 from Windsong in 1975, Late Night Radio. I'm a radio person, always loved this song. I really love Starland Vocal Band's cover of it on their third album, which is also titled Late Night Radio. And of course, Starland Vocal Band and John Denver are intertwined. Bill and Taffy Danoff wrote and performed songs with John all the time before forming Starland Vocal Band, which signed to John's label, Windsong. The label's now known as Windstar, but there was a lot of crossover between the two. Bill and Taffy often did backup vocals for John's albums, and they were actually given credit for one of the songs we'll talk about in a little bit. Number 24, a story of what it sounds like to be listening to late night radio back in the 1970s. Talk radio, progressive radio, everything thrown together in late night radio, number 23. At number 22, a song he wrote about his baby son Zachary, A Baby Just Like You, from Rocky Mountain Christmas, released in 1975. I have always loved this song, and I love that album, that John Denver's first Christmas album. He's did two solo and two with the Muppets over the years, and I think there was a live one too, so there may be five. Baby Just Like You is dedicated to his then infant son Zachary. I think was 2 or 3 when the song came out, and it is just gorgeous. It's soft, it's lyrical, it's lullaby-y sort of. Um, and John really puts into it all of his heart and soul. You can tell how much he loves his son. A Baby Just Like You from Rocky Mountain Christmas, number 22. Number 21 is going to mystify people, I think, who know me. But I really enjoyed this song, and I think it deserved better than it got. It did, I believe, hit the top 40 just barely. But if not, still did get airplay. And it was an interesting experiment. Number 21, Perhaps Love, duet with Placido Domingo, from Placido's first pop sort of sounding album, 1982, also called Perhaps Love. John and Placido have very varying voices. John, of course, his high tenor with his wonderful vibrato, and Placido, his explosive operatic sound. But they surprisingly combine very well. I really thought they might end up doing a whole album together. John, they didn't, although John is part of that album, and it was really an eye-opening experience because I'm not a big opera fan, but I really did love that song, and I think it deserved better than it got. Number 21, Perhaps Love, is duet with Placido Domingo from 1982. At number 20, the title track from John's 1981 album, Some Days Are Diamonds. It's a song that talks about life and how sometimes things go right and sometimes things go wrong. That's a storyline that John has revisited over and over in many different ways over the years. But I really like Some Days Are Diamonds. I think it's a great song. Some of his critics, and there are a lot of critics, a lot of his albums don't get very good reviews from the critics because they weren't made for critics, they were made for the masses. They were made for his fans, of which I am one. I've always thought this was a very poignant song for the way that it handles it. Some people have even said it talks about how to deal with depression or bipolar syndrome. I don't know if I'd go that far, but it definitely has its pulse on the fact that everybody has up and down days, and everybody always will. Terrific little song. Number 20, the title track from Some Days Are Diamonds from 1981. At number 19, from 1972's Rocky Mountain High, Goodbye Again. I like this song. I know there's been other covers of Goodbye Again by other artists. It was a single eventually. I don't think it did all that well on the chart. I'd have to look it up to make sure. But I definitely remember hearing it because I had friends that were into John Denver. They had the albums I only recently acquired, so I was familiar with his music. And it's just a very poignant song about leaving someone for another second time or third time even. And it's... Some people say it's about a child leaving home. Others think it's a love lost. I don't know. Either way, it's a great, poignant little song, and it is at number 19 on my list of favorite John Denver songs, Goodbye Again, from Rocky Mountain High. At number 18, the soul song from his 1976 album, Spirit, that I'm really a big fan of. I like the album overall, but Like a Sad Song is really great. I actually had it on an 8-track compilation of songs that were out at the time. And it's, again, very melancholy, very minor key, actually. It reminds me in that way of Herman's Hermit's No Milk Today, as it talks about the storyline is very much like I everything makes me feel like a sad song because I'm so sad. It's a great sentiment and a well done, different way of handling the subject matter that John has been over, as I said, a number of times before. He's very good at the melancholy stuff. Number 18, Like a Sad Song from Spirit. On the other end, another song that is just about loving life and everything about it. Number 17 from Back Home Again, Sweet Surrender. Love John's version of this. I've heard this by a couple other people, cover artists and tribute artists. It's a great song, and it has a great sentiment behind it. There's a lot of great feeling he puts into this about how much life means to him, what he has with friends and family and career and everything, and how he has given himself, surrendered himself to what makes him happy, and that is all of that plus living in Colorado and being around. And it is a terrific, upbeat song that I always will love. Number 17, Sweet Surrender. Also from Back Home Again, the title track, Back Home Again, number 16. This is a great story song with John coming home after a long way off, probably a husband or possibly a son. I don't remember which because it's been a few years since I've actually heard it, but I've always liked the song. Hey, it's good to be back home again. When you're home, you have that feeling of home. Family, friends, loved ones, comfort food, comfort situations, a nice comforter wrapped around you in some cases. Back Home Again is just always puts a smile on my face. It was right when I first started really getting into John Denver. And not as much as I would be in the next 2 or 3 years, but I enjoyed the song all the way around. Number 16, the title track from 1974's Back Home Again. At number 15, it's almost the opposite of Sweet Surrender, but not in a bad way. 1975's Wind Song and Looking for Space. Olivia Newton-John did a great cover of this album, of this song, on her "Have You Never Been Mellow" album, I think, or it may have been the next album. And of course, she was good friends with John and did quite a bit of stuff with him, television and music. But it's just trying to find yourself on the road of experience and trying to find my own way. Sometimes I wish I could just fly away. I mean, that's a true statement for everybody. He writes great lyrics here, and that his original version and Olivia's version too are both terrific. And you have to. It's about finding yourself, and that's always good. And of course, that was a typical topic in the me decade, the 70s. And I always love the song, and I think it's better than most people remember. It wasn't the biggest hit off the album. I think it peaked at number 17 or something like that. But it was a great song, and I will always love it. From Wind Song, 1975, Looking for Space, number 15. Number 14, another song about finding yourself, but in this case, one particular person. The title track from Rocky Mountain High, released in 1972. He was born in the summer of his 22nd year, going back to a place he'd never been before. He'd found Colorado, and it's a very much an autobiographical song, I think, because John was originally, if I'm not mistaken, he was born in Texas. And all of the things in this song and in several other songs that he talks about, his love for the mountains, his love for the land, his environmental causes, are first and foremost at the front of the lyrics, and Rocky Mountain High is one of those. When he's talking Rocky Mountain High, everybody is like, oh man, yeah, he's talking about getting high. Well, John was known to imbibe and hash occasionally, but that's not what this is about. It's about getting high on being in the mountains and letting the surroundings make you giddy. It's a great song all the way around, and I love it, and I always have. Number 14, Rocky Mountain High from 1972. At number 13, it was originally released on Poems, Prayers, and Promises in 1971. I prefer the re-recorded version from his Greatest Hits Volume 2 album in 1977. Number 13, My Sweet Lady. This song also was a hit for Cliff DeYoung from the TV movie Sunshine, which was based on John Denver songs. I don't know if you'd actually call it a jukebox musical, but several songs were featured in that. It's a beautiful song, and it evokes music and a couple coming back together after a fight. Really beautiful lyrics, and John's performance of it is stellar, especially in the re-recorded version. Number 13, My Sweet Lady from Greatest Hits Volume 2. Number 12 is the silly stuff. I have a cousin, or faux cousin, who was a John Denver fanatic. I mean, fanatic. He lived, ate, breathed, and slept John Denver when he wasn't politicking, because he was a poli-sci major in college. How the two of those go together, I don't know. But one of his favorite John Denver songs was this one, and because of his love for it, I got into it too. And it's just a down-home, hee-haw style country song, Grandma's Featherbed, at number 12. I listened to the dimensions of this bed, and I'm thinking, how in the hell could anyone get in that thing and sleep in it? It was 9 feet high and 6 feet wide and soft as a downy chick. You'd sink into the middle of it. For Pete's sake, John. I don't know. The lyrics were nuts, but the song was just full of fun, and it still is. I loved watching him perform it in concert. I love the version that's on the live album too, but the one that I was exposed to first, From Back Home Again, 1974, Grandma's Featherbed, number 12. Remember that song that WatchMojo had talked about as one of the best country songs of all time? It's at number 11 on my list. Take Me Home, Country Roads, duet with Fat City. It is Bill, John Denver with Fat City. Fat City is Bill and Taffy Danoff before the Starland Vocal Band came along. They did 2 albums as Fat City and 2 albums as just Bill and Taffy before forming the Starland Vocal Band with Margot Chapman and John Carroll. And they co-wrote the song as well. They are terrific, and their harmonies with John here are great. Take Me Home, Country Roads is a classic, and it is, of course, John was one of John's signature songs. It's the song that really put him on the map in a big way, and it was after that that all of his really good stuff really exploded, as far as I'm concerned. I love that song, though. It's a great fun. There's a lot of great covers of that song out there, both by male and female artists who've done brilliant jobs with it, and the original is still fantastic. Number 11, according to WatchMojo, one of the greatest country hits of all time, Take Me Home, Country Roads, John Denver and Fat City from Poems, Prayers, and Promises, 1971. My top 10 is going to surprise some people because they're in an odd order sometimes, and there's a couple of holiday songs in here too. Starting at number 10 with one of the older songs on the list, one of the newer songs on the list, because John's career in the 80s was not as big as it was in the 70s, but he still produced a few gems, and one of them is number 10, Shanghai Breezes from Seasons of the Heart, 1982. I love Shanghai Breezes, this man singing about the love of his life who he left back in the States while he's in Shanghai working, or traveling. I always assumed he was working. It's just a great little love song, and talks about love and how much you miss the people you love, and it's just, melody is just so simple and so forthright, and the love is on his heart is on his sleeve here. Really great song, And again, it barely cracked the top 40, and it deserved better than it got. Number 10, Shanghai Breezes from Seasons of the Heart, 1982. Number 9 was one of my mom's favorite songs. Not her favorite of his. That's coming up, but she loved this one too. And I suppose it's not coincidental that they are from the same period. Originally from an earlier album, I think it was Poems, Prayers, and Promises. It was the re-recorded version that became a hit from his greatest hits album, and is my favorite in that way. Number 9, Sunshine on My Shoulders. Again, sunshine on my shoulders makes me happy. It's about feeling sunshine, and this is again being in the outdoors, feeling the sunshine on you, the sunshine making you high, not drugs, and the love that he has for the woman of his life at the time, his first wife. And really, it's simple. I think it's maybe 5 notes altogether that are just mixed up. And it's a simple, heartfelt song of love for the love of his life and the outdoors, and Colorado again in particular. And I will always love it. And my mom loved it too. From the version from John Denver's Greatest Hits, 1973, Sunshine on My Shoulders, number 9. Number 8 is a Christmas song. John did great stuff on Rocky Mountain Christmas. The whole album remains one of my favorite Christmas albums of all time. But his rendition of Oh Holy Night blows everybody but Billy Gilman out of the water. John's version was superior to me until I heard Billy Gilman's version in 2002, and just fell in love with that. And Billy still sings it great. But John really nails this song. His voice is perfect for this traditional Christmas hymn. And Oh Holy Night is my favorite hymn of all the Christmas hymns, the traditional ones. And his version of it is leaps and bounds above every other version I've heard, except Billy Gilman and possibly Charlotte Church, who comes a close second. I really, really, really cannot get through Christmas without playing that song several times. I just love it. Number 8, Oh Holy Night from Rocky Mountain Christmas. At number 7, back to the silly stuff. There is a recent remake of this song by Home Free that I adore. It came out in 2018, I think. But John's version is just delightful, and it's because it was recorded live and released as a live single off An Evening with John Denver from 1974. Thank God I'm a country boy. This song, again, falls into that same grandma's featherbed area. It's just fun, down-home, country, humor style music, and it works from beginning to end. It is just fantastic. And, of course, that exuberant, yee-haw, thank God I'm a country boy at the end, with the live audience's applause coming in. That makes the whole song. I mean, the studio version is great, too, but I really love the live version, and it was the live version that was the hit, and it is number 7 on my list. Thank God I'm a country boy. At number 6, my favorite John Denver album, I think is very obvious to people, is Wind Song. It's the only one I had for the many years, and it came out in 1975, and it's full of great music. And number 6 is from that album, 1975's Fly Away. This song, which is about a woman who isn't content with her life, is told from the man singing about the woman, with the woman's refrains done in the background. Wonderful backup vocals from Olivia Newton-John here. Absolutely fantastic. I wish they had done a whole album together. Olivia did an album or two with John Travolta, and they were great together, but a whole album of John Denver and Olivia Newton-John together would have been stupendous. Unfortunately, they were on different labels, he on RCA and she on MCA, but they allowed little appearances here and there. And she did her own covers of some of his greatest stuff on some of her albums. So it all works out, and you could probably work them into a duet if you tried mixing them right. But Fly Away was an actual duet, even though I don't remember. Because I had the album, I didn't get the single, and I don't believe she got credit for it. Although it may have been later when it was repressed on a RCA Golden Oldies thing. I think it said in the parentheses featuring Olivia Newton-John or whatever. But it's a fantastic song. Number 6, Fly Away. Number 5 is a song that if you are not a John Denver fan, you may not know. This is an album track that the first time I heard it just started bawling. It was released in the fall of 1986, and it's called Flying for Me. It's from his album One World. I had to buy the album to get the song after seeing him perform it on The Tonight Show. Flying for Me is dedicated to Krista McAuliffe, the New Hampshire teacher who died in the Challenger space explosion, and the crew of the Challenger in addition. It is a gut-wrenching tribute to the people who do what they do and risk their lives every day exploring the vastness of space. It is from Krista's point of view as an ordinary person. She was a school teacher who was, went on this trip so she would be able to educate people. It was supposed to be a magical experience, and instead it turned into one of the biggest tragedies in American history. The song is beautiful, and if you've never heard it, it may make you cry. It does me, even now. Number 5, Flying for Me, from One World, 1986. At number 4, I don't know why I always love this better than some of his other stuff, but I do. It is a song about lost love, and it was a number 1 hit, one of his 3 number 1 hits. And it truly deserved to be. It was an awesome song. Number 4 from 1975's Wind Song, I'm Sorry. It's about a man who's looking back on the things that has made his life and the things he's sorry for, and one of the things he's sorry for is himself because he's lost the woman he loves. Gut-wrenching song, great lyrics, wonderful melody, and still one of my all-time favorite songs from John. I love it, and it gives you a kick when you're listening to it. It's that sad. Number 4, I'm Sorry, number 1 hit from 1975's Wind Song. Number 3 is the opposite, and it was originally recorded for his first wife, Annie. Annie's song, Back Home Again, was where it was first included in 1974. The title never appears in the song. Some people know it as You Fill Up My Senses. There are a few amazing remakes out there, one of which is by a no-name singer that I downloaded. I've got a Francisco someone, I don't remember, I have it on my MP3s. It is a mind-blowing version of the song. John's is still superior. It was my mother's favorite John Denver song, and I still love it as well. It's an unabashed declaration of love. Of course, John and Annie, I don't know if her name was actually Annie, if that was a nickname, did split up later, but at the time, it was the perfect song from husband to wife. Number 3, Annie's song from Back Home Again, 1974. Number 2 appeared originally, and I didn't know this until I was doing research for this, on one of his earlier albums, Take Me to Tomorrow, which I think came out in 1970. I first heard it on Rocky Mountain Christmas in 1975, and to this day, it is one of my all-time favorite winter songs. It does not mention Christmas. It doesn't really mention winter that much, but because it's on Rocky Mountain Christmas, it is played during the Christmas season. I play it all the time because I love it. I just think it's great. And it has given me something on my bucket list. Number 2 from Rocky Mountain Christmas, Aspen Glow. I have wanted to visit Aspen ever since I heard this song in 1975. I still haven't made it. I will make it. My wife and I were actually talking about trying to get to the Aspen Film Festival some year, combining it with Subject Cinema. And we were actually planning to go one year, and something happened, and they had to postpone it or whatever. And so, thank God we didn't buy anything to go or make full arrangements. But I adore Aspen Glow, and it makes Aspen seem like a magical place to me. I've seen it on video. I've seen it plenty. The X Games, Winter X Games, have been in Aspen more than once at Buttermilk Mountain and Snowmass Mountain. And the city just looks amazing. I cannot wait to visit there. I will get there sometime, I swear. Thank you, John, for making me want to go so badly. Number 2, Aspen Glow from Rocky Mountain Christmas. And at number 1, finally, I have loved this song since it first came out. I still listen to it regularly. It is still one of my favorite songs of all time. It is definitely my favorite John Denver song, although just above Aspen Glow. And I love the fact that through this song, future generations have been able to figure out what the life and work of oceanographer Jacques Cousteau has been about and why it was so important. Number 1 from 1975, Calypso. The song, named after Cousteau's research vessel, explains why the sea is so important to man. It explains his environmental ideas in one song. John was an avid environmentalist. He was very much an activist in various environmental issues, and Calypso came about after he spent time with Jacques Cousteau on the boat and actually diving with him. Coverage of that dive is actually on one of John's specials, and it is a breathtaking song that never fails to put a smile on my face and a happy little skip in my heart, because it's so joyous, and it needs to be there to remind us that no matter what happens, environmental things are important, and we must take care of the sea to make sure life stays as it is. Whether that's sustainable fishing or fighting pollution or getting all the plastic out of it, the sea is important, and Calypso is what proves that. You can't hear this song without thinking of the work and the animals and everything about Jacques Cousteau. If you don't know who Jacques Cousteau is, if you're too young to remember, a number of his specials are available on Amazon Prime, and you can go over and watch them. And his heirs are continuing the legacy with the Cousteau Society. Number 1 favorite John Denver song of all time, his tribute to Jacques Cousteau, 1975's number 2 pop, number 1 AC smash, Calypso. And there they are, my 25 top John Denver songs. Did I miss something that you really like? Let me know in the comments. Did I put something on here that you were like, oh, what is that doing on here? Well, there's a lot of great songs. John has a lot of good stuff, and it's hard to really make up your mind when you're such a big fan. I've been going back and getting some of the albums I never had. All I had was I had Windsong and I had the Greatest Hits albums, and one of the other ones, I've forgotten which one, from the 80s. And, One World. And I love some other stuff off that album, but nothing like Flying for Me. And not nearly as well as I like the rest of these. He was an artist taken from us way before his time. He was just 54 when he was killed in the crash of his light plane that he had built and refurbished. The world is forever poorer without John Denver in it. His music will live on forever. His legacy is important all the way around. And if you have someone in your life that doesn't know John Denver's music, For Pete's sake, introduce them. Take Me Home Country Roads, Sunshine on My Shoulders, Rocky Mountain High, Calypso, Aspen Glow. They're all great for the next generation of potential John Denver fans. So play them and make sure they know. And that is my ranking of the top 25 John Denver songs, my favorite songs. I'd like to know what yours are. Let me know in the comments. And please, if you haven't already, please subscribe. If you have, thank you. I'm getting close to 500. Hopefully when I do, I'll be able to utilize that tab, that community tab for various things. And I hope that you'll continue to watch all of my other shows as well as Rank This every week. Day late this week. I do apologize. I couldn't get it in when I had intended to, so it's Friday instead of Thursday. But, you know, that happens every now and then because I got a real work out there too, you know. In any case, thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it. For Rank This, I'm TC Kirkham, the Kirkham Report. Ciao, baby. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.